whether you're looking for information, whether you want to buy something, or whether you're going places. For all of these three reasons, most of us use one search engine known as google.com. With 90% market share, Google is no longer a word used to identify or name a company. It is officially incorporated into the English dictionary as a verb. Imagine that. We all know that Google reached this position and continues to enjoy this position because of their vision and mission to continuously strive to improve what they are serving and what they are offering to the people in the first place. Keeping the spirit of innovation and customer service in mind, last year in November 2020, Google decided that certain metrics they're going to use in the future starting mid-July 2021, which will identify which websites are giving better user experience to their audience. Now, these identified elements or metrics, they started calling this Core Web Vitals. Now, they send this information out for developers to start preparing for this update. Every time Google comes up with an update, developers are always on their toes, wanting to find out what's new and how to cope up, how to keep up with these changes with google.com and their gamut of products and services. So while Core Web Vitals are mostly an update for developers, it is also important as a site owner to understand what Core Web Vital is, how do you pass a test, what is Pagespeed analytics, what are the different ways you can use to improve those tests or pass those tests and improve your visibility on the Google search engine organically. If you're a developer, I'm sure you already know what Core Web Vitals is and the different questions that I'm going to answer in this video. However, this video I've created primarily for those site owners who are interested to improve their game organically. So if you are one of those people, sit tight, I'm going to answer all of your burning questions in this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Pagespeed and I create educational content for learners like you on sales and marketing. Without much further ado, let's begin. One of the common questions that I receive from my students on the digital marketing course, as well as the site owners whom I work with, is what are Core Web Vitals? As I already mentioned in the beginning of this video, there are at least 3 identified elements or metrics that Google came up with and they call Core Web Vitals. Primarily these were for developers, but again, you as a site owner or maybe as a student can use to improve your visibility. What are those 3 metrics that you need to learn about or at least have a basic knowledge of so that you can start improving the user experience on your website? So these are the 3 metrics that you should really know about. Number 1, FID, which is also known as First Interactive Display. Number 2, LCP, Large Contentful Paint. And number 3, also known as CLS, Cumulative Layout Shift. Do not worry guys, when I started out in digital marketing and especially technical SEO, I really found these words also very geeky, nerdy and over the top. You don't really have to do anything on your own. You can pass on these to your developer or your website admin and they can help you resolve these issues. So the first one is FID, which is also known as First Interactive Display. As the name suggests, First Interactive Display means nothing but how sooner your website becomes interactive for anyone who is visiting your website. This primarily talks about the elements or the blocks on your website and how sooner they become interactive for the people on your website so that they're able to take the right decisions and right actions on your website. LCP, again the name suggests Large Contentful Paint. Every website is made up of little blocks as I just mentioned. LCP, as the name says, Large Contentful Paint, means the largest content that gets painted, that gets visible to the users when they visit your website. It's as simple as that. Now on your entire web page, there are different content areas, blocks and different colors and different elements that form the website or the web pages on your website. Some of the elements that are part of LCP are images, your background images, your banners, your hero section of the website. If you do not know what a hero section is, it is nothing but your top banner section of your website, which is first loaded as anyone visits the website. It also gives an understanding of what the web page is and it sets a theme for the website or the web page rather. For example, the contact us page, and on the hero section you might have a huge picture with contact us written all over it. That is nothing but your hero section. You want to make sure that your hero section and the different images, your background images, all of these elements, they are part of your LCP. If you optimize all these elements, your LCP becomes possible. That means it loads faster and you pass the Core Web Vital test. If you're a site owner, you want to make sure that your LCP is within a load time of 2 to 2.5 seconds max. If you go anything beyond that, you're not giving a good user experience, and eventually your score, your page speed score will drop, and eventually it will affect your visibility on the Google search engine result page, also known as SERP. Point number 3 is CLS, which is cumulative layout shift, especially for those moving objects that you see or something that pops up again is very important. For example, on my website, I had this little chat box that would pop up every time a user visited my website. It would say, "Hey, how may I help you?" So when I did a page speed test, I found out that my page speed was getting slower because of that box. So you want to make sure that it's good to have this service, especially during this day and age of AI where everything's automated. You can even have a chat box automated. But again, this is something that site owners should not be doing unless you're very good with coding yourself. Otherwise, if you're not good at it, I would say just simply drop it. If it's not necessary, don't do it. It will help you to improve your CLS score and give you the chance to get better ranking on the SERP. So quickly to summarize, what are those 3 important elements or metrics that will help you to pass the Core Web Vital test is LCP, FID, and cumulative layout shift. LCP talks about your website loading times, CLS talks about your visual stability, and FID talks about interactivity. So make sure these 3 components or these 3 experiences are better every time a website visitor comes on your website, especially via Google search engine. So whether your visitors are coming from Google or any other search engine like Bing or Yahoo, you want to make sure that you are taking care of all of these 3 elements, even though the Core Web Vitals is primarily a Google product. Another common question that a site owner will have is, okay, now I've understood what Core Web Vital is, what are the important elements or metrics, but hey, how do I pass this easily and make sure that my users have a good experience when they visit my website? I would say keep it simple. Make sure that these 3 elements that I spoke to you about, these 3 metrics I spoke to you about, make sure they are in green. I'm going to share with you here the results, exactly how they should look like, and make sure that you strive for these results, and if you do not get those results, you'll exactly find out where your website stands. So for FID, make sure that you are within 100 milliseconds to be on the good side of this particular element. On CLS, make sure you are on 0.1 seconds. Anything beyond that is not a good user experience. For LCP, make sure you do not go beyond 2.5 seconds. These are the standard good numbers that you want to maintain every time your users come up to the website. But hey, you might be asking, hey Pritz, does it necessarily mean that every user, every time when they come to my website, they should have this experience? Are we talking about, let's say, 500 visitors? Are we talking about 100% of the time that I should be giving such experience to my users? Come on, it's not practical, it's not doable. It is possible that I might not give the same experience to all the users. Maybe they are logging in from a desktop, maybe they're logging in from a mobile, maybe they're logging in from other devices. How do I give consistent experience to my users? But I would say do not fret, because Google has said that as long as you're giving your users a result of 75 percentile, that means out of 100, even if 75 times, if you're giving a good user experience to all the visitors who are coming to your website, you are good to go. Core Web Vitals are very important as a ranking factor. When Google came up last year with this concept or with this project of Core Web Vitals starting mid-June, July 2021, they did it for a reason. They want their users to get a better experience every time they visited their website. They have taken this so seriously, and they are adamant that they are going to use this as a future metric to rank the web pages on their SERP. Which means that every website, based on the kind of experience they're giving to the users, these websites will get a badge next to their website or web links on the search engine result page. So in short, the website visitors, or let's say the potential website visitors, the people who are searching, the audience on the Google search engines, will be able to see exactly what kind of experience you give to your users even before they visit your website. Imagine you are looking at my website on the Google search engine result page, priteshzaveri.com, and you find out that the badge says that, hey, do not go to this website, this is not good. This website does not give a good user experience. It's on red section. It gives you, let's say, a 10 score out of 100. you do not want to visit my website, right? You'll say, okay, let me look at some other website that gives better experience to me as a user. So right, Chris, how do I improve my core web vitals? I want to do this bit by bit. As a site owner, I do not have the means to hire a developer. I'm bootstrapping probably. I'm going to do all of these things by myself. So can I break these 3 elements down and identify exactly, pinpoint what are the things I can do to improve my website for the potential users or audiences that are going to visit my website in the future? Absolutely possible, absolutely doable. So what you need to do exactly is go to Pagespeed Insights. Once you go there and run a test, it takes hardly a few seconds to run this test. Google will share with you all of these 3 metrics, and also under these 3 metrics, they will also share with you exactly what diagnostics you need to confirm on your website, the things that you need to do bit by bit, nuts and bolts, and improve your website ranking for those elements or those metrics. These are also known as the diagnostics from Google PageSpeed Analytics. Here is how they look like. So exactly you can see in the picture here is how they have shared what you can do, to what are the opportunities that are available to you given your website condition. If you improve on those little areas, automatically your elements will improve and automatically you will pass the Core Web Vital test. I remember downloading a lot of these extensions from Chrome, getting excited about all the things that can do for me to improve my productivity as a salesperson or as a marketing person, even in my personal life. But again, do I really need the Core Web Vitals extension from Chrome? I would ask you, why do you need this? Why do you need the extension? It really does no good. Exactly, because the time it takes for you to get the information of any web page on these elements is exactly the time you can take on Pagespeed Insights and get the results faster. So have a look at this picture and see what the Chrome web extension can do for you. I would say really ditch it. You do not need it because you can run the Pagespeed Insights, or there are other products also. You can use Pingdom also, where you can get a detailed analysis of how you stand in terms of your technical SEO. That is correct. I do not really simply rely on the Pagespeed Insights. I also look at Pingdom, and I also try to see the variation in terms of the results. Because I think personally Pagespeed Insights is not 100% reliable, you can use that tool to guide you in terms of what you can do. But again, 100% relying on Pagespeed Insight is a pretty much debatable topic. There are a lot of people who will say, hey, this is coming from Google, so you should really take care, because it is information coming from Google for their own search engine. So it really makes sense to really trust what they're saying. But I would say not really. So are the Core Web Vitals important from SEO perspective? Absolutely. As I mentioned, this is nothing but your technical SEO without putting a name to it. You want to make sure that, because SEO is again on-page SEO, technical SEO, off-page SEO, you want to make sure all of these areas you're doing well on your website to get a robust growth from all 3 corners. If you do not address your technical SEO, your website is not going to perform better, even if you're putting ads and spending a lot of money. It's like inviting people to your house when your house is dirty. How would that sound like? Like, you do not want to invite people to your website using ads in the first place when you're not giving a good UX and UI to the people who are about to visit your website. So make sure technical SEO is in place. Make sure these 3 elements or these 3 metrics are in place. You pass the Core Web Vital test, grow organically. At the same time, you can also use ads, but do not simply rely on ads and say, I don't care about the elements or the metrics given by Core Web Vitals. Last question. A lot of people have asked me that, hey, is 100 a good score? Like, is it important for us to get 100 out of 100 on Pagespeed Insights? This reminds me, as a child, I always had this notion that I should always get 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 in my examinations, in my classroom tests. But when it comes to this Core Web Analytics, especially on the Google Pagespeed Insights, you do not really need 100 out of 100. I've already shown you how Google ranks on their own tests. That's pretty much a bad example to share with you, because Google eventually belongs to Google, right? The Google search engine belongs to Google. Even if they have a bad score, does not matter. They can say, hey, we are the bad people, but again, this platform belongs to us, right? How do you compete with a billion-dollar company? Because they're going to favor themselves first, right? They are going to have their results first. Even in terms of paid ads, they're going to spend millions of dollars, because that money, that revenue comes to them from one pocket to the other. Google has a score of 65 out of 100 on mobile. But again, the trick is they pass all the Core Web Vital test. If you ask me personally, I would say have a score of at least 85 on mobile devices and have at least a score anywhere above 90 for your desktop. If you are a site owner, if you want me to help you with technical SEO, simply reach out to me. I'm going to share with you my email address in the description box. That's about it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If I missed a particular question or popular one, if you have a certain query, also let me know in the comment section and I will try to get back to you. At this point in time, I'm going to ask you to do one of the best things you can do ever is subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell icon. That way you'll never miss any new video coming out of my stable in the future. That's about it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, Ade Proxima.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up.